Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. Here we are looking at Bitcoin US dollar index on the 4 hour time frame, and going to try to be a little bit faster. We're starting back here at June 2023 because I want to show you a couple trend lines I have on the chart before I hide them. So this lavender trend line holds price action is support here. The red line here is the other one we're looking at. And I also want to note that the fuchsia colored parallel channel is perfectly parallel to this red trend line. So you can see the lavender trend line comes up here, and this is where we lost support in our August dump of 2023. And now the red trend line comes into play here in October when we started our bull rally that's lasted since then. And then you can see the lavender colored line up here acted as resistance, acted as support here. Then the red line acted as support here. You can see if we zoom in that we were below this lavender line right here, and then when we broke out we tested it as support. And then note as well the top of the fuchsia colored channel, which is perfectly parallel to this red line. And note here as well that we are starting to interact with this fuchsia colored trend parallel channel. Even back here, acted as support, briefly before we fell through. And the center line acted as support here, acted as resistance here. And then these lines came back into play over here in early May. The red trend line acted as support again. The lavender line tried to act as support, but we lost it briefly and held it on the red trend line. And then you can see that we regained support on the lavender line here from where we bounced currently. So I'm going to now get rid of those lines. Alrighty, I got rid of those lines and I left this fuchsia colored channel, which was perfectly parallel to the red line, if you remember that. And as you can see, it is important because we are currently interacting with this channel. Now, there's a blue dotted line right here, which it seems that it's acting as resistance, the center line of that channel. So now I want to point out too that we should be breaking that somewhere around where we're also breaking the top of the daily Gaussian channel. These curved dotted lines represent the daily Gaussian channel. I've drawn them on the chart so that I can switch through various time frames and still have the daily Gaussian channel represented, because it's very important. It's extremely important right now, as our whole recent price action since mid-April has been an interaction with this channel. Once we fell into it here and it came all the way down to the bottom, tried to hold the center line, came back down, fell through the bottom briefly, which is very, very typical, and came up to retest the center line, back down to the bottom of the channel as that acted as resistance there, then bounced. Currently, last week we bounced, just blasted off from the bottom through the midline of the mean band of the daily Gaussian channel, and are currently trading in this upper area here, and a breakout from here is imminent, in my opinion. Of course, you could argue that this all fails and we come back down here as well, but um, not likely. Less likely, much less likely. The blue channel here. Okay, after I pointed that out, um, the blue channel goes way back in time. I'm not going to get into that now, and I have a couple channels interacting with them. I have the darker blue channel with the baseline here, and the top of the channel there with the dark blue center line here. And that is within a lighter blue channel that has the same baseline but a little bit higher top, and the center line is up here. And you can clearly see that we got resistance on the center line of that channel right there as well. And I can go briefly back in time probably. Well, you can see that here at our 73, the light blue, top of the light blue channel acted as resistance. So we're trading within that channel. I don't believe that we've traded outside that channel. Oh, we did back here. But we're all the way back in September now. This is when we started interacting with the channel right here with the FTX collapse. This was a channel I had created right prior to the FTX collapse, or maybe just afterwards, interacting with previous channels on the chart. But so we're going to get rid of that blue channel for right now because it's just cluttering things up, although it is very, very important. And I imagine that as we move upwards from here, these tops of these channels are going to come into play, and they're currently up around 80,000 and 90,000, so they don't really play a role in the near term here. There's a big blue channel on my chart. Hold on, me pause. All right, we got rid of those blue lines, and now we are looking at this aqua colored parallel channel. So back in March, we traded sideways until finally oscillating downwards in this, consolidating downwards in this channel. And early May, broke above the channel, started holding it as support, and finally at this fuchsia colored line, we reversed back upwards. And you can see that actually, so an inverse head and shoulders pattern is the intersection of two parallel channels, indicating a reversal. This downward channel here, and then an upward channel going this way, not necessarily this fuchsia colored line, because typically the channel we move upwards in would contain this point here. But the fuchsia colored line is significant, and I believe just briefly though, because it did act as support back here in February. Kind of the same deal where we wicked down through it and then held it as support up a little bit higher, which is interesting because it kind of did mark a reversal from this little consolidation pullback from a move upwards. However, as you can see, that move upwards was steeper than the channel. similar to what we're going through now, I believe that our move upwards will be a little bit steeper than this channel. So, should I get rid of this? Should I get rid of this channel? There we go. We don't need it for now. We're clearly outside of it, and I don't think it really plays a role. Now, what I'm going to talk about now is the inverse head and shoulders pattern here, which has marked our reversal from that downward channel that I just removed into this group of yellow channels here that, as you can see, are a little bit steeper than that fuchsia colored channel that I was talking about, which I'm currently just leaving on the chart because it's going to come up in a second here. So target for our inverse head and shoulders pattern here is this target here, which basically measures the width of the channel that we're currently moving up in. That's what these targets really are doing. And then where we would break out would measure the target up here. So I pulled it over, and I'm estimating possibly that we hit this target of about 75,000 at the end of May. Looks like maybe Friday. Wow, that's interesting. Friday, last day of the week, last day of the month. What just happened? So that's why that orange X is up there. And as you can see, currently we are traveling in these channels. We've come to the bottom of this channel. The center line of the lower channel acted as resistance, bounced back down to the bottom, blasted up through. Top or the mid section of these two channels has acted as resistance here. And then we've also held the center line as support. Now, the center line of support here is very, very critical because a lot of people were calling for a move back down to 64,000. From what I heard from a friend, they were talking about us dumping back down to 64 or something like that, and breaking the neckline possibly here. And certainly that was a concern when we saw this move here. I didn't understand what this dump was over the weekend because I don't pay attention to the news, but apparently the Iranian president's helicopter crashed or something, and it was right here at this dump. But we held, as you can see, it did cause price action to dump, but we held the center line of support. So as far as I'm concerned, if something like that didn't cause us to come down and break the neckline and come back down through the mean band of the Gaussian channel, then it's very likely that this is the way we're going up here, not down. So I've got rid of those lines, but I've left the target there, the orange X, which certainly seems doable as we're moving upwards, that headed right there, upwards in this parallel channel. That would bring us to 75K, which would be above this resistance we've been banging our heads on. Not very much, mind you. I just saw something. So possibly even we break up into this channel here and bang our heads some more on that before finally breaking through and then consolidating, holding it on support. That would be really, really good in my opinion, because we don't have a lot of price interaction around this area, and this would build structure in this area. That's what I'm looking for over the next couple months. Now, I've since the past 9 months at least, I've been predicting a mid-June breakout here. This is the date of the FOMC meeting. See, I've been calling for a breakout at the green line here. We got the FOMC meeting and CPI data coming out both on June 12th. So needless to say, that's probably going to be a pretty volatile time around there. And I've been expecting a blast off from about 80K mid-June. And at this point, I'm wondering if we don't start our parabolic run till possibly in July. Let's see, we have a CPI data release July 11th. That may be, because I'd really like to see some more consolidation in before, at upper levels before we blast off. And so the white channel here has been key in being a blast off level to start our parabolic bull rallies. And I can just show you briefly. You can see that white channel is a part of these pink channels that I am leaving on the chart because they're very, very significant. And you can even see how we came down to tried to hold the white channel as we dumped in 2022 and bounced off of it and eventually fell through it with Voyager and Celsius and all the other crap that was in Luna, Terra Luna, all the other stuff that was going on then. But you can see here in 2020 where we held the top of this channel and kept bouncing along the top of it and held it as support until finally blasting off from it. And then you can see back here, same deal. We consolidated it in a while for a while before breaking out and holding it as support on top, and then finally blasting off here. And well, that was 2019, so that was a little pre-rally. And then when we did dump from 2017, 2018, this acted as support pretty much, although we wicked through it a couple times. And here you have it acting as resistance. We didn't really spend a lot of time in the channel, blasted up through it, attempted a parabolic rally, but lost it, came back down, held the top of this channel perfectly as support. Right there. So that's why that white channel is there and is staying there for eternity. You can even see here, although very, very brief, it came up to the top of the channel right there in 2013. It acted as resistance, came back down, fell through it, eventually held at the top of the channel, interacted with the center line here very significantly. And when we finally broke through and held that channel as support right there, when we started that parabolic run. So every single time this channel has played a role. So who thinks? Where are we? Boy, this is a long time. Let's move this together a little bit. So where are we now in regards to that channel? Well, we're certainly trading right here around it. It's acted as resistance here, came back down, fell through it a little bit, but clearly having significant, and so now we are moving back up into the channel. And that's why this was key, very, very key in price action over the weekend. Holding this center line and breaking back up into this channel and holding it, which we're just currently doing. And so boom, yes, boom, boom, boom. All right, let me get some other stuff up here on the chart. Let's switch back to a 4-hour. And maybe I even want to go to, but first of all, let's note all these green 4-hour candles that we're forming here. That's really nice. And we're going to switch to a daily because or an hourly, because we're going to look at this action over the weekend and what occurred. All right, so I pulled up our triangular consolidation that we are currently in. We're currently in this blue triangle, the bottom of which is the center line of our channel that we're traveling up in, and which typically is what a triangle is. It's a consolidation within a upward moving parallel channel. And then what happens, the measurement that you take. So really so you're just oscillating sideways in the channel. And then what happens is that you break out and move back up to the top of the channel, sometimes up out of it like that. So that's really all what that business is all about. Alternatively, if you have a failure, then you can break down here. It's more likely, much more likely that you break up, but could have a failure and break down here. So I put all that on the chart for you. But especially as much as we're beating our head on the top right there, it's likely we're about to break through. I also have this thin white line here because for some reason it seems to be playing a role as resistance. I mean, it acted as resistance here, it acted as resistance here, and you can see that although we've come up through it, we've closed these candle bodies on it and have been unable to form a candle body outside of that. Even on this last hour, we came back down. I thought possibly we'd hold it here, but we've come back down and unable to form a candle body outside of it. Now, the 9 o'clock my time, which would be, what is it, 1600 UTC, starts a new 4-hour candle. So hopefully we can start an hourly and 4-hour candle outside of this line. For some reason, it's a resistance line. And once we do that, I believe then we will come up and attempt to break out from this triangle and possibly come back down and consolidate on top of it. So maybe we don't blast off from here today, but when do I have this target? So maybe, sometime tomorrow morning, we come up here, and I put a couple estimates of targets here on that fuchsia line. Remember, is a possible target early in the morning Tuesday, or probably more likely, I'm guessing, back up to the top of our channel that we're currently ranging in. sometime in the day on Wednesday. So probably attempt to break out of this blue channel, kind of, trade up alongside of it, up on top of it as support, and then tomorrow maybe try to attempt through the top of the Gaussian channel here, and kind of try to test it as support, and then up to there on Wednesday. So what we did here over the weekend, we held this. This is a very, very... Let me switch to a 5-minute chart. This is a very, very... a battle was going on here. And we were trying to hold this as support, and the bears were trying to dump us down through here. And then what was key was that we held not only the center line as support, but our infamous white channel from which we start all our parabolic bull rallies. Even in so much that we did hold it as support here, and we're moving significantly upwards towards the top of the blue channel. And then for some reason, we had this dump. I don't even know why. Someone just thought, I want it. I'm so sick of these bulls. I want this to dump. And they tried, but weren't able to do it. And back up we went. I didn't really understand that move. Maybe I don't know, maybe some liquidations were involved. And so we're looking good now, back up 60. Yeah, we're up high for the day, or for trading hours anyway. So that's good. So zooming out on the 4-hour chart here, you can see that compared to, say, this move here, that everything we're discussing within this little tiny triangle here, and this target here, and this target here is really kind of not too significant. Well, it's the start of a move upwards from this consolidation. And instead of consolidating downwards, we are starting that move back upwards. And then, if we continue in this fashion here, that would be. So those channels are kind of parallel to this action here. So there you have that. One last thing I want to do is look at a monthly chart and see. Oh, that reminds me, I want to bring up something else too that I have discussed recently, but so this would be a month of May. So see, that's nice. On a monthly time frame, our target here at the orange at the end of the month would then give us a bullish engulfing candle, which makes a lot of sense. And then I would expect us even to come down to the top of this triangle here. I'd probably not go much below 73,000 in June if we do it all. And should get a pretty big candle in June. I don't see why we couldn't move up to like 90,000-ish in June. Maybe mid-80s, and do some consolidation up on top of that white channel. Anyway, we're getting a little bit too carried out here. The other thing I did want to point out, why? Oh, it was the 2-month chart. I was going to say, where's that death cross or whatever? Not a death cross, gravestone. There's that gravestone doji, that damn gravestone doji that they're talking about from whenever, a couple months ago, because we're already forming another nice big green candle here. So others have pointed out as well how stupid this unreliable the 2-month candles are. And what I want to point out is 2 monthly candles, 2 monthly candles aren't consistent with the rest of the stuff we look at. We look at hourly, we look at 4-hourly, we look at daily charts. We even look at, minutely charts on the minute, which are all 60 minutes in an hour. There's 24 hours in a day, in every hour, in every week. There's 7 days in a week. And in every month, there's 4 weeks in a month. Wait, no, that's not right. No, there's not 4 weeks in a month. There's 4 weeks in like a few days. And some months have 30 days, some months have 31 days, some months have 28 days. And every 4 years, some months have 29 days. So that's not consistent. So looking at a 2-month chart, this is what you see. And looking at, say, an 8-week chart, which is consistent, this is what you see. I don't see any gravestone dojis. I don't see anything out of the ordinary here at all. Looks very nice to me. And this 8-week candle will end in 27 days here. So, okay. A lot of stuff's green. That's really, really nice to see. Solana's doing well, I'm sure. Render's kind of hanging out there. I'd like to see it move up a little bit more. Solana's... Anyway, that's about it. Oh, let's take one more look at this. We have CME futures trading at like 280, about a 275 premium. It should move up now. 270 or so premium to spot. Well, spot seems to be really moving right now, and futures isn't. It's going to take a second to catch up. So maybe we should go back to our chart because it looks like we're really moving here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we pierced the top of the triangle there. Great. So let's see what happens with the rest of the day. Possibly we got 30 minutes in this. That'd be nice if we could start a 4-hour candle right on top of this triangle in the next 30 minutes. So let's see what happens. Like, subscribe, and see you next time.